Welcome to episode 53 of Terese Talk. I'm your host, Terese Main. By day, I co-host a morning radio show on a network in New York and Pennsylvania. By nights, I'm a podcaster. If you're a woman like me who loves Jesus and just wants to serve her family and community a little bit better, you're in the right place. If you would, take a moment right now to subscribe so you don't miss a single episode. What are your family Christmas traditions? At my house, we hide a pickle ornament on the tree, and whoever finds it first gets a special gift. We almost always decorate a gingerbread house sometime during the season, and we got to drive around and look at lights before they're down again. Oh, and don't forget candlelight service on Christmas Eve. Christmas is steeped in tradition. There are just some things that have to be done every year. What does Christmas look like at your house? Today we have two guests, one with older kids and one with little ones. They're sharing about what Christmas is like for them and maybe sharing a couple new traditions. First is Amy Grant. She has sold millions of albums, won Grammy and Dove Awards, and still sells out arenas on tour. When I looked online, I think I saw she has 5 Christmas albums. Is that right?
I know. I think one is more of like a compilation with a few, maybe 4 new songs. Yeah, but five different projects.
So from Scrooge to Buddy the Elf as a scale, how much do you love Christmas?
I love every day. Yeah, but Christmas, from Scrooge to Buddy the Elf, I think clearly I'm leaning toward Buddy the Elf,
Right.
but I don't
At least
I don't
like
know if anybody's that. No one is that over the top.
maybe like
Yeah.
Cindy Lou Who. I don't know, somewhere in there.
Yeah, somewhere in there. Good question. Yeah.
So you are on tour with Michael W. Smith. Is that like a dream come true to be able to be on the road with him during this time of year?
Yes, it is. I mean, he's such a great writer. I love celebrating our friendship. I love being on stage with him. And, it's funny, the older you get, I don't know, when we toured and we were kids, I never thought about the timeline. I never thought about, I wonder how long this will last. But, we're in our 60s and I look at him and go, oh my gosh, we got to do this again. And it makes everything more precious because there's, you just don't know.
It's really hard to hear you say things like we're in our 60s because I think every one of us who had a moment somewhere in our life where we first experienced Amy Grant and Michael W. Smith, like you're forever locked in that age for whenever that was. And and sometimes we forget that, you've been on this journey with us for a long time because we're not, 22 anymore either. On the other side, what season, as you look back on that friendship, was your favorite or is your favorite? Maybe it's now.
It is now. Yep. Both of us have busy lives at home. But Michael and I, there was a farm that was going to be developed. And Michael and I and one other family bought that farm kind of as just honestly to save it from being developed. But he and I meet in that location quite a bit. And so and that was years ago when we did that, when land prices were a lot cheaper. For all of us, that as time goes by, friendships are more precious, and especially when you've said goodbye to a lot of friends. So, and here's the other thing about music. Like, I think when we hear old songs, they peel the years off like an onion. When you hear an old song or sing an old song, it's like, oh yeah, we're back in college. Oh, I remember that road trip. Because that's just the beautiful thing that music does.
And then you feel young until you realize that you're at the age where you hurt yourself doing something mundane. Like,
right.
like I pinched my hip the other day putting on a pair of sweatpants. So, I mean, have you had one of those moments where you've sneezed your way to the chiropractor or like hurt yourself in a way that went, wow, I'm not 22?
Well, it's funny. This last summer I was in rehearsals and I called my dear friend who is also my manager. I said, I don't think I can make it through the show. I mean, this is like hard. But it's so funny. I mean, there's a way to do everything. And I started swimming this summer just to build up my lung capacity. And And it's funny because I've stayed doing it, and it helps. By the way, it's the best exercise you can do, because you can hurt yourself doing a lot of things, but you really can't hurt yourself in water. And Michael and I started this Christmas tour, and we keep finding ourselves in the pool at the same time. I thought, well, no wonder he's the Energizer Bunny. He swims like twice a day.
Are there Christmas traditions that your family has had for years and years and years that you look forward to, that even in a season like this where you're on the road during part of the Christmas season, that you just can't wait to get home for this?
Well, they change. You know, my family, when I think about, I mean, there's my immediate family, Vince and me and our 5 kids. So we're a blended family of 5. They're all grown. And so we have our 3rd grandchild on the way. But I just, just gathering. That's what I look forward to. I have so many great nieces and nephews, and a lot of them have children. And our house is the gathering house. And so, I mean, it's like we like to play cards. Over Thanksgiving, a friend of mine said, "You have got to get this Max Party Rocker," I think, or Max Party Rocker Max. Anyway, it's a karaoke in a box with a light show. And that's what I got for my birthday. And we're not really a karaoke family until this year. And that was fun. So to me, it's just like, I don't know, just being together. That's the best thing.
I think it's kind of unfair to have karaoke when it's Amy Grant and Vince Gill. Come on.
Oh, can I tell you, the best karaoke singer is our youngest child, Karina. She has such a great voice, and like everybody in the family was, "Would you sing back up with me? Will you do this with me?" So she's the closer.
From adult children to a house full of little ones, Laura Story is also a Grammy and Dove Award winner. She's a church worship leader and has just written a new book called So Long Normal. Her house is bustling with 4 little kids. I bet that's a lot of entertainment.
So our 3-year-old, Martin will do bedtime with them. And this is kind of sad, but Martin will do bedtime with them. And he'll say, "Timothy, I love you." And Timmy goes, "I love mommy." And he says, "Timmy, I just love you so much." And Timmy goes, "I love mommy so much." I feel like last year, with us not being able to see family, we created some good rhythms just with our little family, and some things that after, like, we're always like running around crazy, trying to see family, trying to make everyone happy. And last year we just hung out at the house. We went to Waffle House on Christmas Day in our pajamas. And that was really fun. And it's things like that where we said, "Oh, we want to do this again. Like, we want to do this every year." So we are planning on doing some of the us things that we did last year, during quarantine, but then having some family time too. And I think one of the things, this is like bigger and deeper, but one of the things that I've heard from so many people that they learned during quarantine, during like those strict quarantine days, that in some ways, I have control over the busyness. Like, a lot of times it feels like we don't have control over it, but, and that we're just kind of experiencing the chaos of our schedule, when really we were the ones that kind of allowed those things to be part of our schedule. And with little kids, with 4 kids, that's something that we're learning. So for instance, this Christmas, approaching it, okay, we don't have to be running around all the time. We don't have to go to every party. We don't have to do everything. We have a artificial tree because that's easier for mom. Things like that.
And you begin to kind of filter through the sieve of importance.
Yes, that's so true.
And so you kind of prioritize and begin to say, nope, I'm not going to look at everybody else and be like, "Oh, wow, matching pajamas at Waffle House, that's goals."
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Or even seeing things that are cheap or free that have as much of an impact with our kids, like that they enjoy just as much, to turn on some Christmas music, dance around, make some cookies, You don't have to go I'm in Atlanta. I'm right outside of Atlanta, and there's all this stuff you can go do for Christmas. You can pay like $50 to walk through this lit thing. I don't even know what it is. I just know it's $50. So that I turned it off. I stopped paying attention once it said $50 a person. But we're not like the ones that go and pay all the money to get the Santa pictures. And it's totally sweet and cool if you do that. But for us, like there's things that we can traditions we can make that we can do right here in our home that mean just as much to our kids than us getting out and spending a ton of money on something.
So, what are your Christmas traditions? Cherish them. And maybe hearing from Amy Grant and Laura's story, you might be inspired to start some new ones. Above all, remember to keep Jesus at the center of your Christmas. If you've enjoyed this episode of Terese Talk, be sure to subscribe and look for the next episode on Tuesday morning. If you really loved it, consider making a gift to Family Life, the ministry this podcast is a part of. Just go to familylife.org and find out more about what we do.